Hey guys, welcome back to Vinceville Custom. So today I am sharing with you a Sideshow Collectibles Power Girl statue that has been repainted and has a bunch of different custom heads, as you can see. So long story short is, if you watch my channel and you know I'm a collector, Power Girl is one of my favorite characters. So what I did is I did a whole series of her where I actually repainted and customized a modern version of her, which is this one. I did a bombshell version. I did a Amanda Connor version, and I also did a retro version. So at the end of the video, what I'll do is I'll bring out all those statues and we'll kind of, have a picture or show them at the end so you can kind of see what's going on. But long story short, in 2019, I ran low on funds at 1 month and I needed to catch up on some stuff. So I decided to sell my current modern version Power Girl custom I did back then. Now, I had an extra EX of Power Girl in my closet, because when she came out, I bought a bunch of her because I wanted to make a whole different line of her. I wanted a whole bunch of different versions. My fifth version, I decided I was going to do like a battle damage version, but then I kind of skipped that idea. I really didn't like that idea. So I had that sitting in my closet, so I figured, you know what, let me sell this one, last year, so this way I could catch up on some funds, and then I figured I could always remake it again. So slowly over the past year and a half or so, I've been just kind of like, working on another one for myself. And this is kind of like what came out. So the cape is a leather cape. I had the seamstress I know here make me a nice leather cape. It has actually lambskin, very expensive, but I just like the idea of having a nice leather cape. And then we have all the different heads, and this repainted from head to toe. So we'll kind of go over it all, but what I'll do is I'll link in the description the Power Girl head that Tony Cipriano sculpted for me. And that's this head right now. But this hair sculpt is my own version of sculpting hair. I'll try and link it in the video as well, or post a picture. I play Marvel Future Fight on my iPad every once in a while, and there is a character in there called Luna Snow, and her key art, she sort of had this type of hair kind of flowing. So I like that hair sculpt and style so much that I decided, let me try and sculpt that on one of these Power Girl heads. And this is what I came up with, and I really like the way it came out. I like the idea that it's kind of like flowing in the wind, but it's not flowing up so high like the original head sculpt that Sideshow did. I really didn't like that hair too much. It really just didn't fit the character. And the head sculpt is nice. I do like the original head, but it didn't feel Power Girl to me. She was too like cutesy and like a smirk. It wasn't more like, she's more of like an adult badass type character. So Tony sculpted this head for me, which I really like a lot. And I did this hair, so it worked out pretty good. So you can kind of see how it works. Really had a lot of fun with this one. So it's kind of like my own little take. And basically we'll go over all the extra heads that I have for it as well. So as you can see, I went a little bit crazy on this one, but it was a lot of fun because I just like to practice hair sculpting as well and just try different heads. It's just fun, So over here to the left, and now real quick, all these head bases, I actually sculpted these from scratch and I sold them back while when she came out. So these are kind of just like display bases for heads. This is kind of what I came up with. This right here is the original head sculpt that came with the Power Girl, but the hair that's on her is the commissioned hair I had Roberto Von Burr sculpt for me. So I decided to rip off the original hair and put this bob hair look on it just to see how it would come out. So we'll pop all these on the statue too in a bit. This right here, this head, is the Tony Cipriano head that's sculpted, but what I wanted to do was kind of have a little fun with it. So I left the right side of the hair on it, but on the left side I sculpted the hair myself. And I kind of put it over the ear just to see what it would look like, just to try something a little bit different. Now this right here is the original idea. This is just the Tony Cipriano head with the bob hair sculpt. So that's kind of like the original idea. And this one over here is the same idea, but this is the Black Widow premium format head. I was actually able to find one from a friend of mine that actually comes down and I do work for. He had this head he found off of eBay, and he said he didn't have any use for it. I said I would love to have it. I'd love the head, and I would want to do it for Power Girl because it was in scale. So we worked out a deal, and he gave me the head, and I put the bob hair on it. So that's my second favorite head. I love the idea that that head is serious, and it's got a really nice look to it, and I feel it fits Power Girl a little bit more. So let's basically pop these heads onto the statue, give you guys a little bit better look on how they pretty much set up. So this one right here is my favorite. This one I'll probably have always displayed, but once in a while I'll pop on the others. This one right here is the original head. So that's the original head with the bob hair sculpt from Roberto. So I like that a lot. I think it looks a lot better. I think it fits her pretty well, as you can kind of see. Now, what you might not notice is The original head that came with the Power Girl sculpt, I felt a lot of people, even I noticed, the neck was a little too high. It felt like it came way too high off the thing. So I actually chopped her neck down and I brought the head down a little bit more, so it feels like it fits it a little bit better. So that's pretty much what I did with that one, and especially all the other heads too. I made sure that it felt a little bit more in line with the sculpt than being too long. Now this is the one I kind of messed around with. I did this one on a live video too, where I was just kind of like sculpting this a while back. You know, just trying something a little bit different, having fun. I like to really practice hair sculpting whenever I can. So sometimes, you know, I'll just stop work for the day and maybe just kind of work on a personal thing just to get my skills up and just try different things and see how things look. I find hair sculpting is very peaceful for me, but I also find that short hair is very hard compared to longer hair. I don't know why, it just kind of is. Now this right here is the original idea. This is just a Tony Cipriano head with the Roberto hair sculpt. So I think that one is like my third favorite basically. I kind of like the way that came out. That's just the original idea. It worked out pretty well. And then this right here is my second favorite, and I love this Black Widow head. This Black Widow head is absolutely beautiful. I think it just works out amazing for Power Girl. I think it looks, you know, stronger, a little bit more badass and serious. That's kind of like how I feel like the character fits a little bit more. So this head worked out pretty well. So that's the thing, is if you ever see people selling heads on eBay or even on forums and stuff, sometimes if you really like the head sculpt and it actually is in scale with one of the other statues, there's nothing wrong with just having a little bit of fun chopping it up, resculpting, and fitting it onto another statue. So this right here I think fits pretty well. But like I said, I think this is my favorite one. I think this one just kind of really fits the sculpt a little bit more, like she came crashing down on there. She puts her feet to the side and the wind's kind of blowing. And if I wanted to, I could kind of flip the cape over there too, like the wind's blowing the cape too as well. So that's kind of my little like finishing up the Power Girl series. I got the collection back to where it was in the beginning before I sold off the other one. But other than that, as far as paintwork goes, I tried a little bit different skin tone paints. I tried to do a little bit more darker stuff into it. I'm kind of mixing some different colors. The blonde hair, I tried not to go a little bit too crazy with the blonde. I did a lot of like dry brushing on it and a little bit of other colors, so I feel like I got the color down pretty well. Archer Transfer Eyes decals. The white is a Wicked Colors white from Createx. I find that their white is the best out there. I had a little bit of bluish gray in there for shading. The blue gloves and boots, I think that was Citadel blue, I forget what color, and pretty much repainted the base, and same thing with everything else. So that is pretty much Power Girl redone with 5 custom heads. It's kind of a nice replacement and everything. So what I'm going to do now is I'll get all the Power Girls out, we'll show them all together, and then we'll end the video. Okay guys, so here is the whole Power Girl collection. Hopefully you guys like the whole setup. So on the left is actually the retro first appearance Power Girl, where her gloves are changed, the outfit up top's changed, and her cape was a little bit different. I tried to go with the old school hair. Now her head is not removable, it is actually attached, but that's kind of like the first appearance. And then after that, now we have the Amanda Conner version, which is basically the boob windows changed, the belts changed, the shoulder pads different, the hairstyle is a little bit different, and the gloves and boots were different as well. And then of course one we just showed you, which is the modern version, which is pretty much my favorite version of Power Girl. So you can see that. And then the one on the right is the Bombshell version. Now Bombshell was a little bit difficult because there really wasn't a lot of drawings and set style to her, so I had to kind of come up with my own look on it here and there. But it worked out pretty well. So that's pretty much my setup. I'm glad to have the complete collection again. I was kind of sad to sell off that Power Girl last year, but you know, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. And that's a good thing about the hobby, is you can always remake it and fill up your collection again down the line. One of the cool things too is, like, this head is removable here. So if I wanted to, I could take this head and put it on there, even though it really doesn't fit it. But you can kind of see what it looks like. So that's kind of cool. It fits. Skin tone's a little bit different, but not that much. I mean, it still fits it pretty well. You know, you can also swap out the other heads. Like elsewhere here, we can take out the Amanda Conner head. And what we can do is we can put this one on it. See how it looks? Looks pretty cool. I mean, it still looks like, you know, Amanda Conner body and everything. Just the hair is a little bit different. But I think for Amanda Conner, you got to have sort of the hairstyle. So it works out pretty well. So there you go. That's my collection. Hopefully you guys like the way it came out. I'm glad to have the complete setup again on my shelf. Like I say, if you're in the hobby and there's a character you love and you want to have different versions of that character, there's nothing wrong with buying a couple copies of the statue and just making different things of it and outfits and having fun. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys like it, and we'll be back with some more videos.